You will know my next guest from his hit science and engineering YouTube channel, Veritasium. Let's take a look at it now.
Sometimes the simplest questions have the most amazing answers. Like, is there a speed limit in the universe? Where does the sun get that energy from?
With over 150 million views, he's held the roundest object on Earth, been to the most radioactive locations on Earth, and is making science and engineering enjoyable on a mass scale. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Derek Muller. Derek, good to see you. Thank you. Please have a seat. Well, this is very special. I've watched your videos for so long. Thank you so much for coming on to our show.
It's my pleasure to be here.
This is wonderful. So, let's have a look at your background. You were born in Australia. You then moved to Canada as a kid, went back to Sydney, and you did your PhD at Sydney Uni.
I did.
Now,
isn't it funny? Like, people here don't say H.
Oh!
People here say H. When I got to Australia, I tried to call up and get funding because they have some funding for graduate studies, and I said, "Can I get some funding for my PhD?" And the lady on the other line said, "You mean your PhD?" And I was like, "What is that about?"
That's the entrance
Nobody in the
exam.
world says that. H. What the heck is that?
One day we will get it right.
All right.
We'll create a global one. So you did your PhD.
Yeah, it sounds wrong when you do it, but I'll take it. Yeah.
So yours was in designing effective multimedia for physics education.
That's it. So basically what happened was I was really into science, but I also loved filmmaking, and that was kind of my dream, was to make films about science. And this was a way to merge those passions. So basically I was looking at how do you make a film which people can actually learn from.
And so with that, your films are always like they're true to science, but they're true to the methodologies that you discovered through your PhD. What is the process to make one of your videos?
Well, they all are very different and very challenging. I feel like every video is a different battle. But a lot of them I approach by asking people on the street what they think about particular topics. Or they're inspired by things I've heard my friends say. Like one night I came home and one of my housemates said to me, "Hey Derek, you know how you're heaviest, you weigh the most at night when you go to bed, and you're lightest in the morning when you wake up?" She said that to me like it was a fact. Like it was a fact that everyone knows, heaviest at night, lightest in the morning. And I was like, well, is that really true? And so I looked it up on the internet, and like everyone that I found on the internet seems to think that.
And so this is the genesis, like
that's the genesis. And then I went around on the street and asked people, like, when do you think you're the lightest? Most people are like, yeah, in the morning. I was like, like right when you wake up? And they're like, yeah.
So if I said to you, I wonder whether you can cook me food for a year, would you do that and make a video about it?
And see, now I feel that is very clever. It's lacking in scientific merit, I think, that question.
Yeah.
Whereas this question, I thought it had some scientific merit.
Pizza pie.
Here's a great question that we can ask here, which is like, does water really swirl the other way when it goes down the drain in the southern hemisphere?
Oh, put your hand up if you think it does.
Put your hand up if you think it does. You have to pick one or the other. Put your hand up if you think it doesn't.
So we've gone 75% for the first.
Oh, I think 33, I'm going to say. Yeah.
Oh.
Did anyone not put their hand up just for statistical purposes? Come on, yes. Yes.
Anomalies.
Yes.
We always need anomalies.
Because you didn't know, right? And you didn't want to pick one way or the other. And I think that's a good way to be. If you don't know, that's okay to not know.
We need to know the answer now. Do you know the answer? Or are we going to have to look at one of your videos
I do know the answer. And I'm planning on releasing the answer next week. But I can give you guys...
It was the biggest promo you've ever seen.
But here's the thing. I can tell you the answer right here, right now. I can tell you the answer. Do you want me to tell you the answer?
Yeah.
All right. Here it is. In any toilet or sink or bathtub you've ever seen, the water swirls in a random direction, no matter what hemisphere you're in. Don't get too let down, though, because here's the thing. If you take a large, and I'm talking like kiddie pool size, tub of water, and you fill it up, and you let it sit perfectly still for a day, and If you then drain it without putting your hand in the middle, because if you any sort of motion in the pool is a problem, because you can swirl one way or the other, that's a problem. But if you manage to, say, pull a plug at the end of a tube, you will see that in the southern hemisphere it always goes clockwise, and in the northern hemisphere it always goes counterclockwise, or anti-clockwise, as we say.
Oh.
It's a thing.
We've got a sneak answer.
You have a sneak peek at what is going to come out next week.
Don't go tweeting that.
Yeah.
You give away all the secrets.
That is embargoed.
Take everyone's phone off them.
That is, yeah.
So say, for instance, so the genesis point comes from your friends. What if one of your friends had $100 million, billion, gazillion dollars and you could make whatever you wanted? What type of video would you make?
I feel like if they had that much money, I should be doing something more than making a video, right? Like when you say that, I immediately think of space exploration. I immediately think I'm going to Mars.
It's you and Elon. Yeah.
Yeah, me and Elon.
Yeah.
SpaceX, Space Y.
So
you know what? It's the next generation. No, see what I did there.
So say, for instance, the IRS say that you can't do that, and you can only
it has to be a
spend it
video.
on video.
It has to only be a video. Wow. I feel like this is too much pressure. Like how? I didn't know this was a job interview. Do you have money? Do you have $1 million? Because if this is happening right now,
if I say yes, will it actually happen? Is that how it works?
Yeah, of course it will.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my Kickstarter right here. This guy is backing me all the way.
So in some of your videos, you use pop culture to explain scenarios. And my favorite one is an imager phenomena where the entire imager community started using bananas for scale. So if you saw a picture of anything and wanted to know scale, they'd pop a banana there.
Yeah.
You used bananas to scale radiation. Is this something that you find helps in actually discussing science by bringing pop culture in?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think when people go to look at a video, they don't just want to see something which is like what your science teacher or lecturer would show you. You know, they're looking for those kind of zinger moments.
Yeah.
I feel like videos and talks, for that matter, are kind of like salads. It's like they have to have lettuce. They have to have this sort of bulk of the thing.
Yeah.
But the reason you eat the salad is not for the lettuce. You eat it for like the nuts and the little cranberries and the cheese.
The cheeky croutons.
This is what I'm talking about. You need those special moments. And for me, in those videos, making use of little jokes or little pop culture references, those are the little special bits.
Yeah.
They're the little croutons that people are after.
The elements that go in.
So this is something you may not know, but like bananas contain a significant amount of a radioactive atom in them. They contain radioactive potassium. So by eating them, you actually make yourself slightly radioactive. So much so that sleeping next to someone exposes you to more radiation than not sleeping next to someone. Because that person is giving off radiation. Of course, you're giving off radiation, which goes into that person. So, I mean, it's not a significant amount. I mean, it's measurable, but it's
now,
not going to kill you.
I love the fact that you say it's a small amount.
It's half a banana. Okay?
Where?
So if you ate half a banana, that's the same as sleeping next to someone for a night. That's why I'm using a banana for scale, because one banana gives you this dose of radiation.
Now, in terms of radiation, I'm going to show a video. You've been to some of the most radioactive places on Earth. Let's take a look at this. So who on Earth do you think receives the maximum dose of ionizing radiation? Let's answer that question by going to the most radioactive places on Earth.
We're driving into the Fukushima exclusion zone now.
That is Chernobyl nuclear reactor number 4.
Grandma boot, it's overloaded.
Dude, are you serious? You went to Chernobyl?
I did. And down into the basement where the gear that firefighters were wearing when the reactor blew up was all stashed. And that gear is still incredibly radioactive. So if you spent an hour down there, it's the equivalent of what you'd normally be exposed to in a year of just natural radiation.
Oh
just
my goodness.
1 hour down there. Yeah, it's incredibly, incredibly strong.
So how long did it take to go around Fukushima? Was this a few months or was this years in the making?
We went to Chernobyl, Fukushima, Hiroshima. We went to all these places in about 4 months. So we got to see a lot of radioactive places, the places where radiation has really touched people's lives.
Your videos are absolutely incredible. One of your videos, we actually asked the crowd beforehand. Now, the premise of this was a video that you used to do where dropping a large ball and a not as heavy ball. Do you want to set up the premise of that one?
Sure, sure. And it's a standard old experiment of dropping something that's heavy and something that's light. And the question is, which one will hit the ground first?
So before the show, we're going to put a little spin on it. We asked the crowd whether if we dropped this camera and this box of matches at the same time, which one would hit the table? I have the results in. 38% said the matches, 54% said the same time, and 8% said the camera.
Ooh.
Let's have a look at this now.
This is where science happens, right here. I think you got to give it a countdown. Are you ready to give it a countdown?
Oh,
This
yes.
is the professional way to do it. Are you
Let's
guys
do
ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The same time!
It definitely looks like same time.
That is incredible.
Physics is functioning
Is
in
the
this
same
classroom.
time.
You might be thrown off by,
Did it look like,
by
hang on,
air
let me-
resistance or something, but no.
Yeah.
Same time, it's pretty clear. It's pretty straight up and down. Yeah,
That's
it
amazing.
It doesn't matter how
That
high.
is absolutely
I'm gonna do
amazing.
It as well. Right here. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same time.
Bam.
Same time. It really doesn't matter.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye out for Derek's new documentary on PBS this July titled Uranium, Twisting the Dragon's Tail. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel, Veritasium. Thank you for being here, Derek Muller. We'll be right back after this.